My name is Tina Roy. I am a realtor in Windsor-Essex County, and I am 42 years old. I've been driven my whole life, right from high school. Worked really hard at getting good grades, worked 2 jobs all the way through high school. I did everything I could. We ski, we played tennis, we golfed, I played competitive baseball. Did anything that was fun. I wanted to do it. Play hard and work hard. I was that girl. I met him when we were very young. I met him on the bus in grade 8, I want to say, grade 7. We didn't date right away. He went away to Europe when we were 18. We broke up. Figured I wasn't waiting. If I'm still here when you get back, we'll be good. And yeah, he went to Europe. He traveled the world. He grew. He turned into this beautiful man. Grew up a little bit. And the rest is history. He's always been my person. 2016, I was sitting at my kitchen table because I was in the middle of building an office that was still completely under construction. So my office was my kitchen table. I was sitting across from my administrator, my very first administrator at the time. And it was 5 o'clock at night, and my doctor calls, and I had him on speakerphone. So she got to experience the moment with me. I've always been super open like that. Scary, but it was what it was. So I wasn't afraid of it at the time. I guess at that point you don't really know what you're afraid of. So you just take it for what it is, and took a deep breath and went on. Everything else happened really, really quickly. I got the phone call from the doctor. They set me up with all of the follow-up tests, biopsies, the surgeon. Everything happened like bang, bang, bang. I was in surgery, diagnosed in January, and in surgery by early March. And chemo, radiation, Herceptin, everything right after that. I was sitting in the chemo suite, getting pumped with poison as I did every 2 weeks. Mark was next to me, and there was this lovely, lovely woman with her friend came over to say hi to me. I'm not sure why. It was her last chemo treatment, and when she told me it was, my face lit up. I was excited for her. I was, wow. I'm like, you must be so pumped. Congratulations, is what I said. And her face dropped. And I completely must have misread that, because she looked at me and she said, it's my last treatment, but I need it. It's the last one they'll give me, but it's not gone. And it really put into perspective that everybody's fight is so different. We all have different paths, and can't imagine. It was hard for me to digest what she was going through. It hit me in a positive way. It hit me in a don't miss anything. It made me feel like every day that went by, every month that went by, every Christmas that went by, it was time to do something extraordinary with the people I love. People are depending on me. I didn't want anybody to know that I was sick or couldn't do it. I am exceptionally good at compartmentalizing things, where I literally, you could just forget how I felt and just do. We've always been, I'm a little bit organized like that. So prior to this, we've had wills in place. We've had lengthy conversations about what would happen should one of us or both of us go. I think it's more when it comes to preparing for something like that to happen, it is more the logistics, right? It's the part that really gets you is Mark raising our boys by himself. That's tough. Those were the real hard conversations and the tough nights. We've lost many. Like it goes far down in my dad's family. Yeah, my mom's as well, actually. They were older at the time. Not old, but they were a lot older than 35. 35, I was at the prime of your life. You're going 100 miles an hour. You feel like nothing's going to slow you down. Cancer slows you down.
So how old were your kids when you found this out?
7 and 9, I believe. They were too young at the time to explain the gravity of the situation, but we never lied to them. I mean, they lived it with us, right? So if they asked, we answered. If they asked, we answered. That was it. I find even today, they don't ask a lot of questions. And had me stopping to think about that and why they don't, because they're very attuned, sweet boys. I think it's the way they see me live. If they saw me, sleeping all day, if they saw me just doing things other than what I normally do, they would be a lot more worried. But they weren't, because I didn't. But honestly, I hope they don't spend too much time thinking about it. I don't want them to dwell. When I was first diagnosed, I bought journals. And every time they did something, or I really just journaled our lives, but it was just for them, each of them. I bought 3. So I have 3 journals for Mark, Isaac, and Sebastian, and that they're just all about them. Some were, hey, you did this today, and this made me happy. Some are, I journaled about my day, just so they knew. So they'll get it. They'll get it one day. I would say the hardest times were more emotional than physical. Physical, it was not awesome. It was not easy. But I would have to say the things that stand out in my mind were the meeting with the surgeon when he essentially gave me my entire diagnosis, and he broke down exactly what my path was going to look like. That was a very defining moment in my life. I had my family in the room. Well, I had Mark and my mom and dad in the room, and that is when he had essentially told me the gravity of what's going on, that it is an invasive form of cancer, and it is likely to return, even once we get through this. So that kind of kicked me in the stomach. My options were a lumpectomy, because he was concerned that I was worried about reconstructive, right? They wanted to, make as little of a physical impact as possible with still, doing what they needed to do. And basically he told me that it should be okay once we remove it. And he said, if you, at that point I looked at him basically and just said, you need to take it. You need to take it all. And once they did, they didn't know what they were, they don't know how far they go in, and they start taking lymph nodes as well. So they didn't know how far it had traveled until they go in for surgery. So at that point, that risk for me was not worth it. It was not worth it at all. So it was going to be either a single mastectomy or both. Why do one? I mean, I went for 2. And then at that point, they recommended, if I was going to consider reconstructive, that now is the time. Do it now while you're in surgery. It's the easiest, less invasive which is understood. It wasn't part of my plan. I felt like at that time, I couldn't bring myself to be worried about my physical appearance when I had such a mountain to climb. And I don't blame people who do. It just wasn't my path. It started out not so difficult because I felt like I needed to get through it, and I just didn't think about it really. Just the simple things, like you can't wear the same shirts that you would wear before. You dress up, you want to go somewhere, you can't wear the same dresses. You make some different decisions, I guess, to accommodate your new appearance. Sometimes it bugs, let's be real, sometimes it bothers me. Sometimes it affects well, I wish you could turn back time. But for the most part, it's who I am. It's who I am now. It's all I have. So all through the journey, besides the physical difficulties, there were so many blessings it taught me. So many blessings. And I would have to say one of the bigger was time. Don't waste it. Show up. Smile. Good things will happen. Because when it's gone, it's gone. I guess I don't really love cancer survivor. I think it's something you live with. So I don't know what word I would use to that. I think it's something you live with forever. So there's survivor makes it seem like it was yesterday and you're on the other side of it. That's not how we feel.